Hi everybody, hello. This is kind of strange for me, it might be strange for you as well, but I wanted to pop in here. I wanted to show you the face behind the voice. I'm not sure you really want to see it, but hello, here I am. I apologize, I'm not one for loads of makeup and that sort of thing, so this is what you get. I wanted to wish you all a very happy new year. And I wanted to say once again, thank you for all your amazing support over the course of this past year. My YouTube channel has been going since around February 2022, so not quite a year yet. But I'm really appreciative to all of you who follow me, who give me thumbs up, who leave comments, who subscribe to my channel. I absolutely really appreciate it. It does mean the world to me. So thank you all so much. I just wanted to pop in really quickly to let you know some of my plans for 2023 and tell you what you might be seeing on my channel in the coming year. So first of all, I'm so lucky to be still a member of the Porcelain Stamps design team, and I've now been selected to join the Isabel Christina design team. I'm looking forward to bringing you projects featuring both of those companies, and I have a lot of exciting things to show you with regards to those. Aside from that, and kind of in my more, I would say, personal crafting, I suppose, I have been making some big plans. So yesterday, being New Year's Eve, I sat down and I inventoried everything that I have in my stash. So all of my stamps, all of my dies, and all of my stencils. And I decided that I have far too much, most of which I have not used a great deal. So I don't know if you're anything like me, you see the new release, you've got to have the stuff, you use the stamp set once and then it gets put away and the next new thing comes along and you use that one. That has been happening far too regularly for my liking around here, and I really want to show some love to all of those stamps and dies that I haven't really been using a great deal of. The really important thing to remember here is that every single one of those stamps and dies I bought because I fell in love with and I had to have it. And I still really love all of them, and I really want to show them some love and use them. So what I did in my highly technical way with a pen and paper, I went through and I inventoried all of my supplies. I wrote down the names of the stamp sets, the names of the dies, and I allocated a number to each. So I've done all of my stamps sequentially and all of my dies sequentially. And my plan is to use a random number generator once a week to produce a video which uses just the supplies already in my stash at this point in time. So I'm not going to be adding to that over the course of the year. I'm just going to be using what I have right now as of the start of 2023. It may be that I get a few new stamps along the way, but I won't be using that in this series of videos. So once a week I'll be doing my shop, my stash series. So let me explain how it's going to work. I'm going to use the random number generator to generate a number, which will come up with a stamp set. So let's say it was number 9, it will be Sealed with a Kiss from Lawn Fawn. I will pull that stamp set out. I will then do the same thing for my dies. So let's go to my dies page and you can see, sorry, I'm just trying to find it now. Say if I chose die number 15, it would be the Stitch Star Frames die. So I would use that and I would put the two together to create a card. That's my plan, that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, there are some caveats in that sometimes the die might not work with the stamp set. So for example, today I pulled out this Puddle Jumper stamp set as my stamp, and the very first die that I pulled out using the random number generator was the Lawn Fawn Magic Picture Changer oven add-on. And I just could not see how that was going to work. So I re-chose, I got a new number using the random number generator, and it chose a different die for me, so that's what I used. As far as possible, I'm going to try and make it work because I think it's going to be fun, I think it's going to be creative, I think it's going to be something completely outside the box, and I'm looking forward to using everything in my stash and trying out new things. But every now and then, as I say, it might not work, so I might have to choose a different die, but that's the plan. I wanted to let you know about it because I know there may be some other people out there who have a serious habit of collecting things and maybe not using them as much as they should. So if you wanted to join me and do a similar thing yourself, I'm going to be using the hashtag #ShopYourCraftyStash on Instagram. So when I post a photo of my finished card, I will be using that hashtag. And I would love to see you do the same, and we can follow that hashtag and see what everybody else is doing with some of the older things in their stash, and see what amazing creative things everybody comes up with. So if you want to join me on that journey, I urge you to use that hashtag #ShopYourCraftyStash, and let's see what each of us comes up with. It would be a lot of fun and a great way to show some love to perhaps the more neglected things in your collection, similar to what I have. And in fact today, this stamp set is one that I have never used. So I was really happy to pull it out and use it, and I'm so pleased that I did so. So that is my plan for this year. I hope that you'll enjoy following me along on this journey, see what crazy combinations come up and what I can do to make them work. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's really going to help me, and also it will kind of encourage me. Sometimes I find that I get in a bit of a slump where I can't think of what to do, so I think this is really going to help me out. And I hope that you'll join me on this journey. And again, thank you so much for all of your wonderful support, all the comments. I really do appreciate it. I love to hear from you, and I hope that you will continue to join me on this journey. And with that, I think you've seen enough of my face. I'm going to jump into the card that I made today and show you how I did it. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Okay, so let's get into the card I made today. So here is that Puddle Jumper stamp set from My Favorite Things, and the Mega Snowflake cover die from Mama Elephant. I'm also going to be using the Lawn Fawn Rainy Sky stencil. So these actually worked quite well together. So you can see that I coloured and cut out my little guy there. I've cut the frame from some Lawn Fawn Storm Cloud cardstock, appropriately enough, and I've used a piece of Moonstone cardstock from Lawn Fawn, which I've cut to 5.5 by 4.25. So I'm going to be using that stencil on top of that Moonstone piece, and I'm using this Distress Oxide in Stormy Sky. So you can see I have quite a lot of stuff that relates to this kind of stormy sky, rainy day kind of theme, and they all worked quite nicely. So that die that I selected with the random number generator is the Mega Snowflake cover die. It's obviously designed as a snowy backdrop scene, but it actually works quite nicely with this rainy day scene as well. So I think I was quite lucky with the random number generator today. I have trimmed down a piece of this Lawn Fawn Narwhal cardstock to act as a bit of ground below my little guy here. And I'm just going to be attaching that down with some liquid glue. But I'm trying to figure out before I do anything else what I'm going to do about a sentiment. So there were a couple of scrap pieces of that Narwhal cardstock, and I thought that would work quite well for using as a piece to put my sentiment on. So I went ahead and white heat embossed that sentiment on top of that Narwhal cardstock. And now, in the spirit of using things that I don't use very often, I decided to pull out this Tombow mono glue, which I've had sat on my desk for quite some time. I didn't particularly like it when I first started using it, so I kind of just put it aside and didn't use it again. But actually, I think it works quite nicely for larger pieces. I wouldn't use it for more intricate pieces. I would definitely use my Barely Art Precision Glue for that. But for these kind of larger cover pieces, it works quite nicely. And the beauty of this glue is that it gives you a lot of wiggle room. So plenty of time to move things around if they don't go down in the right spot initially, which is something that I'm prone to do because I don't know, I can never seem to get things lined up quite correctly. So this works really well for that. It gives me plenty of time to move things around and make sure that they're centered and in the right spot. So I have just attached that frame down nice and flat on top of my background panel, which I've already attached my little ground piece to. And now I'm just figuring out what I'm going to do with the rest of this sentiment. So I have, as I say, gone ahead and white heat embossed it. And I pulled out this Concord 9th triple step blooming heart die, which has this great little stitched banner there. And I've cut it from that. I've only cut one end, and the other end I'm going to have kind of flush with the edge of the card. So I am again using that liquid glue to attach it down, and I'll pop it down towards the right hand side of the card, and then I'm just going to trim off that excess so that it's flush with the edge of the card and it just looks like it's hanging off there. And I thought that that looked quite nicely, and I thought the contrast of the lighter grey on top of the darker grey worked quite nicely. Once that's done, it's just a case of attaching down my little guy here. Again, I'm just using that liquid glue to stick him down into the center of my card as best as possible. I'm going to try and line it up so that he's quite centered. And that's pretty much the card front done. I did feel, however, that it was missing something. There was a bit too much space at the bottom. So what I did, I decided to pull out my Sakura Jelly Roll pen here in white, and I'm just adding some kind of line detail to the bottom. I'm no artist. I kind of wanted it to look like it was shiny with water wet from the rain. I'm not sure that I did a great job of doing that, but you know, I did my best. I think it turned out okay. I think it looks all right. There's probably people out there who could do a much better job of me, but I think it worked okay. So I'm just adding a few more little details in there, and once I'm happy, that is my card front done. I attached it down to a white card base in which I stamped out this other sentiment from the stamp set, which says there's a 100% chance of happiness when I'm with you, and I thought that worked really nicely. And that is it, my card complete. I hope you enjoyed this one today. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to see you come back again. Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to know what you thought. And please do join me on Instagram with that hashtag #ShopYourCraftyStash. I would love to see what you create from your stash. Thanks for joining me. Take care.